the City Council of West Liberty, Iowa to order here. And so we're joined by Councilmember Parizek, Councilmember Schiltz, and Dana has just arrived, Councilmember Dominguez, also Mayor ProTem McFerren, and Councilmember Martinez. So we need approval of the agenda, and rumor has it that there needs to be an amendment. So
We have a motion to amend the agenda tonight, swearing the councilmember McFerren.
okay. Procedure wise, do we approve the agenda with the modification?
Motion to approve with modification.
Okay, all right. Have a second? Well, we have moved, and do you mind seconding?
Sure. Second.
Councilmember Parizek. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying nay. The agenda is modified to include the swearing in of Councilmember McFerren, and I don't think that there's any reason not to do it right now.
You can, so you'll do the approval of the consent and then you can go. into
Oh, okay,
Yep.
all right. So thank you. We need the approval of the consent agenda, which includes the reports that are part of your packet, and also the minutes of the last meeting. Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it. The consent agenda is approved. Now, I think we can go to the swearing in.
We'll have to change something. And I can,
How do you want to do it? Let's,
so we're gonna, you'll go here and, just as we've done before, so with Cara's name in here.
Yeah.
And then, just as, probably just.
Hold on.
okay. Please raise your right hand.
Hold up just a second. Brittany's gonna pull it apart for you
Oh, okay.
for objects.
For optics here. We came up with a good solution. Raise your right hand. I, Cara McFerren,
I, Cara McFerren,
do hereby swear,
do hereby swear.
I'm sorry, do solemnly swear
Solemnly swear.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa.
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all duties of the office of City Council Member for the City of West Liberty,
discharge all duties of, as City Council Member of the City of West Liberty,
Iowa, and now and hereafter required by law. Iowa,
Iowa,
as now
As
or
now.
hereafter required by
as
law.
now or hereafter required by law.
Very good. You were sworn in.
Family to get a photo.
Yes.
You're starting.
Oh, yeah.
Term.
Is it time we object?
Too late.
Forever hold your feet.
Right, take hands and do something like.
You-
There you go.
But a picture with you. Like
with
you
me?
with the
You-
family.
Yeah, take a picture with the family
And
too.
a picture with the family.
All right.
Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma. I can to everybody.
Put grandma here,
Oh.
grandma next to you. There you go.
That's my
There
baby.
you go.
Thank you.
You suck it in a little bit more.
Emmanuel, thank you guys. And you're trying to put Christmas cards are ready. All right, that's all right.
Yeah. Okay, we are now ready for the reports. We have a report, we'll have a report from Leo Foley as a city engineer. And then they're also in the packet were the street and police reports. So first off,
Okay,
Engineer Foley.
we have resolutions for the Naughty Circle project, for the phase 2 of the well, as well as the wastewater treatment plant. So the only project really to give a report on is the Rainbow project, Rainbow and Maxon Street. I just went through it. It looks like it's really cleaned up pretty good. They still have to do their late season seeding for next year. And then the last part is the lights. For some reason, the lighting poles have not come in yet. So they told me they'd have it done this week, but they told me that a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully they can get that done. And then the only final part of that is we did do a change order. You weren't on the council at that time, to add a sidewalk along Columbus Street. And all we need there is we need 2 or 3 temporary easements. It's actually on state right of way. And we've got the state permit. Some of the landowners, we have to work with them to get the temporary easement so we can blend it into their drive. That's all I have tonight.
Okay, all right, thanks. Were there in the packet the information on the street report and also the police report? I did notice that in the street report, there was just kind of a quiet little blurb about hosting the holiday dinner. And I thought that that was a nice thing that the police or the street department did. And didn't get quite a bit of accolades in there, just mentioned that it did occur. So thank you for that. So were there other concerns regarding those reports?
Happy to see Miller and Clark got some asphalt on it. So we've been waiting for that. So good job. But that's all from me.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think this is where Josh reminds me, well, committee reports first. Are there any, I don't think there've been any. So, there will be this week, but yeah, okay. And then I think this is the opportunity for council members to after vendors. Okay, thank you. All right. So next up is the vendor voucher claims, and so I need the motion to approve.
Motion to approve vendor voucher claims list.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, excuse me. Any discussion about the vendor reports first? Hearing none, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by signify by saying nay. That takes care of that. All right, now we are to the public comments and or correspondence. So are there folks that would like to make public comments? And I think that we set a limit on the amount of time, two minutes on that. Any public comments? Hearing none from William and others in the crowd. We'll move on to city council public comments. Yes.
Oh, I just had one for myself, and that was just, I'm noticing a little bit more signage in the right of way. So I just wanted just to make a mention of the signage in the right of way and how it's more of a nuisance issue, and we just want to make sure that that stays clear.
That's right there, and we'll follow it with less than a piece of department, along with Mr. Ortiz, and have him assist us with the enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
I haven't received any feedback yet, so.
Okay. No one else? All right. City manager.
I've been out of the office, but I still received some correspondence, so I will share with you, Miss Diane Brooks, she had sent an email regarding seating, and I'll follow up with you, Leo. She had requested some seating not be placed. But it was placed because by the time I seen her email, it had already been placed. So I just have some follow-up to talk with you about it and talk with her about it to see. I believe the seating was covered where we would need to cover it. She just had some concerns with her own vegetation that she was interested in planting, so we can follow up to see what we can do with that. Father G provided a financial update report regarding the American Rescue Dollar funds and the balances, and we'll have that report on the January 16th meeting in your packet. I also received an email from Mr. Alt, had some questions and some concerns about overnight parking in the downtown area. And a few other questions. I did send that over to the West Liberty Police Department. Sergeant Strong responded and worked with the staff to look into a few things. But I told Mr. Alt I would follow up this week when I was back in the office on the rest of the items. And that is all I have at this time.
City Clerk.
The only thing that I have is that, and normally we close at 1 on Wednesdays, but we will be closed from 8 to 3 tomorrow. We have our very first safety training of the year. And so we will be closed from 8 to 10, but we will be open the rest of the day.
All right, new business, we'll move on to that. Appropriate action from the city council on the appointments to the library board. And that's in your information as well. So, discussion. There are two items on the first are two people being appointed, and then one to appoint a continuation of on the library board.
Do we need to make a motion for that, or?
You will have to accept it. That's what she's
Okay.
asking for. Your library director is asking for acceptance by the city.
Yeah,
So
they are
just make them-
technically mayoral appointments and they need council approval.
So do I just need to make a,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to go ahead with the appointments of Ms. Potts and Mr. Ibarra to the library board.
Second.
All right. All in favor signify by saying, oh, is there discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. All right, next up is also a resolution on another person to the library board, Shannon Snyder, and this is Brianna Harvey, and this is because there has been a vacancy on the library board.
Motion to approve or to accept.
Okay,
Second,
all right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the appointment to the library board. Is there any discussion?
I would just ask Director, the library director, Smith, do you have anything to add to these appointments or?
Nope,
additional information?
these are all have been approved as recommendations from the library board. Hannah attended our last meeting, and all of the applications were very well thought out and well researched. So we have 3 very, I believe, active participants in the library board joining us.
I agree, I'm familiar with all 3 of these recommendations, and I think they're great recommendations to the board.
Okay, so the motion is to accept Brianna Harvey to Brenna Harvey to continue serving in that serve in that capacity as a replacement. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it. Next up is resolution to 2024-0102-116, a resolution for disposal of city property stored in the police garage in West Liberty, Iowa.
Motion to approve.
A motion has been made and seconded. Is there discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, so this. Normally, it comes before council, before disposal, but these items were already disposed of or donated
That is
prior.
correct. Yes,
Okay.
typically it would come to council would approve it. However, there were items that were disposed of during shop with the cop, and that's why you will see that written in the resolution for you.
Okay. Okay. And just in clarification, the items came into the city last year during Shop with the Cop as a donation from a retailer. And so then that, since we held the items, then it becomes inventory. And so the reason why we're taking the step to dispose of it is again, it's a public transparency to communicate that was brought in by donation. We've now followed through with reducing the inventory and donated essentially to what its original intent was. But as clerk has stated, because it does come in as inventory and we held it over a period of time, and it's within our possession.
So these were donated to the kids?
These were donated from a the retailer last year to the previous police chief, and was communicated that the intent was to distribute them with Shop with the Cop participants, but the program had already ended. So we held the inventory until this event. And so, but because we held it for a period of time, it's just a public communication that inventory had been dispersed.
Hearing no other discussion, this is a roll call vote. The clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Dominguez,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Next up is resolution 2024-0102-117. A resolution to approve change order number 1 from All American Concrete Incorporated for the Naughty Circle Division Street project in the city of West Liberty.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I would call in Mr. Foley, and Mr. Foley, please don't hesitate to ask me if I need to add anything in as a part of that process.
So what I'd like to just say about this one is this was, I think I've told you guys before, kind of a difficult project. There was a lot of soft spots in the road after you get it excavated. So in the project, we had to bring in kind of bigger rock to put that to help secure and make the soft spots so you have a good road with that. When they were doing that, they ran into a water service that had been located, but the way the city locates it has always located. They locate the stop boxes in the yard. So these were from the other side of the road, coming underneath the road. And they still should have located them. Our specifications tell them that it's their responsibility to locate those, and it's in the plans. If they hit them, it's their responsibility to repair them. If they would have stopped and said they're going to be in the way, then it would have been the city's responsibility to pay All American to do the work. So when they hit them, we're like, you got to get them fixed. It's an emergency there. So they did repair the 3 water services. They also noticed, we noticed that water main had one of the services pulled out from the water main. That's a much bigger fix. So these are $20,000 worth of repairs. What we ended up negotiating with the city is saying, maybe when that one pulled out, it might have been leaking. Maybe that's why it had such a soft spot. They drove a truck over the rock and it sank down in. They think that's what your employee, Danny, thinks that might have pulled it away from the main. Of course, All American says, no, it was leaking all along. That's why it sunk so much. So there's always he said, she said type of thing. Well, I think this is a reasonable negotiation. The city pays a small portion of the water main. The street lighting is very similar. When they hit the street lighting, they were putting in subdrain. They did have it marked. Now they had the mark right on where it was. So when they hit it, they started pulling it out. It was not in conduit, it was direct buried. So now they have to put it back to get the streetlights to work. We told them again, you hit it, fix it. When they went to fix it, the electrician says, that's not how you do water main. You should be, how you do light cable. You should have conduit and bury it in conduit. Your electrical superintendent said the same thing. It was not in conduit in the days when that was done, it was done. So again, All American argued pretty hard that if they would have stopped, then you would have been paying for all of the electric. Very true. But they didn't stop. So then we said, now it's a negotiated settlement. We asked them to fix it. It came to about $40,000. They told us they wanted the city to pay $20,000. And we basically said, no, that just doesn't seem right. We looked at what it was and we said, we'll pay 50% of what you think the city should be paying. And that's how we ended up with this $12,000 change. I think it's a reasonable deal for the city. It's not perfect. The city, like I've told city administrator and I told All American, if it went to court, I think the city's on very good standings. Should we improve our specifications? I think we should. We have words in there that say you shall locate, but we don't say you shall pothole and locate. We should say that to them every single time, even though it's standard business. They potholed, and your electric superintendent told me they potholed to find the gas in 4 different locations. So they could have potholed. The only other last thing I'll say is we put this out at the very end of the year, knowing we were up against the wall. We wanted to get it done this year, knowing winter was coming. I'll give All American credit. They tried really hard to make sure they could get this done. I think they went a little too fast. So that's, and my recommendation is to go forward. I think this is a reasonable conclusion to what I wish wouldn't have happened. And I told them the exact same thing.
And as the city manager, I support that recommendation. As Leo had stated, we went back and forth and communicated, and again with the light repair, it was not in compliance to begin with. So whether or not how it occurred, it's on the onus is on the city to replace it, to bring it into compliance, which drove up the cost quite a bit more. So so again, this is a contractor that we work with regularly. We've given taken on other occasions, and so we want to continue to have that the ability to work with the contractor. They work well with us. Not only are they local, but again, I can think of several other scenarios that the engineer and I work through, on a daily basis on these projects that we work together on. And so I support the recommendation for the changeover.
Your other discussion? Okay, there's a motion on the floor. The clerk will call the roll.
Martinez. Dominguez.
Yes.
McFerren.
Yes.
Schiltz.
Yes.
Parizek.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next up is resolution 2024's 102-118, a resolution to approve pay estimate number 3 for SG Construction Company for well number 2, phase 2 pump house improvement project in the city of West Liberty, Iowa. I won't read the zip code. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. All right, we're open to discussion, and I would imagine we want the city engineer.
I'd like to
speak
give an update
this
on that
issue.
project. That's another project that's kind of taken a little longer than we had hoped. So they are coming down to the end. I talked to Northway today. There's 2 phases. This is the phase doing the interior work, and they're essentially done. The only thing they have to do is There's an interior roll-up door that they have to put in. Other than that, everything's completed on the inside. The well, they've done all the cleaning out, they've acidized the well. Now what they have to do is put the new pump and motor in. I talked to him today, it is here. He says next week they'll put that in. As soon as they put that in, they'll put the hatch on top and then the roofing guy. They're telling me within 2 weeks, the roofing guy can be there. I talked to him today. He seemed to act like if weather approved, and everything works. I said, can you work in the cold? He said, yes. So we'll just see how much snow we get and all that. But the project is moving forward. Things seem to be going reasonably well, so I recommend approving the payout.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
All right, Dominguez,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
All right. Resolution 2024-102-119. A resolution to approve an agreement for services with Cara for the wastewater treatment plant in West Liberty, Iowa.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Again, to return to.
Last thing is, this is part of the design process. We do a design contract with you. What we say is we'll tell them exactly where to put these borings, how deep they have to go and all that, and then it comes back to you to pay for the Terracon part of this part of the project. I will tell you that the project's moving ahead pretty well. We've got the survey done now with this done. What we need to do now is firm up our preliminary costs and go to West Liberty Foods and get an agreement with West Liberty Foods. They know it's coming. They know we've talked to them in the past about this. But before we get that agreement, we want to be on pretty firm ground on what we're telling them we're gonna do. It's all moving forward. Recommend approval.
Is there further discussion?
So this is for the new. What's it called? The new,
So this is for what we call the baseline improvements for the wastewater treatment.
okay,
And what this does for the wastewater treatment plant, it really brings it up to, a lot of the equipment is old and antiquated.
you're right.
So it's bringing most of the equipment, the pumps and things up to kind of better times where they can get parts and things like that. Also, there's a few what we call bottlenecks where the flow could be smoother going through the plant. So we're fixing those bottlenecks, gonna put a clarifier in to help with that. It doesn't give you a lot of extra capacity for the future. That's why with this one's a baseline. Then there's another phase after this where we give you a lot more capacity, but we're really not comfortable moving forward with that phase. This phase, we think is no matter what happens, if West Liberty Foods left tomorrow, you need this phase. And that's why we.
And this is so that we can put on the new clarifier,
Right.
correct? And so then it'll go in the site, inside the compound, but what happens to the current infrastructure?
So all of the existing, there's a hole, there's a space for this one that was never put in the past.
Okay,
So that's where this one goes, and then we have to tie all the piping to it and all of that type of thing. This is not expanding beyond your existing footprint.
oh,
This doesn't do any of there's a whole nother part that West Liberty Foods was looking at very heavily, putting a digester in. This is not that part. That's kind of sitting off to the side at this point.
okay. And just again, agree with the recommendation from the city engineer, and this is the first portion of the capital improvement plan, this baseline improvement was built in leading up to the future infrastructure with that additional clarifier.
Is there any further discussion? The motion and second on the floor, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerren,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
Parizek.
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Dominguez,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Seeing no other items on the agenda for tonight, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The city council meeting is adjourned. See you on the 17th.